Welcome back, my friends, to another Kohan Duels video. I am your host, Zeza. I have not been here for a bit. I've stepped away from the Kohan community, and we were all sad about it, so here I am back again. But even though you're seeing my face, I am not alone. Who else is here with me?
Hi, this is Fluke, joining Zeza for my second cast on Kohan Duels.
Hell yes. As you can see, we now have a bit more than just me doing the Kohan Duel stuff. BoNT and Flute have both been adding in their commentary, their analysis, their love, their presence. So yeah, this tournament ended back in November. But we really want to get all the games casted, so that's kind of just what we're working on right now. Moving forward, we want to keep doing more 1v1s. There's really been a little bit of a change, I think, in a lot of our mindset around the 1v1s where, first of all, I always have to say at the beginning of almost every video, because it's always true, that I'm flabbergasted by how many people like these videos. In the time that I kind of stepped away from Kohan and didn't make any videos to now, we've gotten like 15 more subscribers, which in the world of internet fame, like 75 subscribers is nothing, but in the world of this obscure RTS from 20 years ago, that is amazing.
Yeah.
75 people who are subscribed and
That's
like
like
these
a
videos.
20% increase, right?
It's literally a 25% increase from 60 to 75. So that's amazing. Even when I wasn't making new videos, people were still discovering it. People were still coming in the Discord and being like, whoa, people play this game? Like, this is so cool. And so a big thing, I think there's a lot of people coming in who are interested in the 1v1s and definitely want to learn and play more, but they maybe don't want to start off going against someone like Flute or BoNT, who's one of the more experienced players. So we're really trying to create a community and a setting of having a lot more of beginner or intermediate players who can find other people to play against. The big point that I want to be making with all this is that I love making these videos, and a lot of you seem to really like watching them. So the biggest thing to support these videos is to just have games continue to go on, have the community continue to go on. So it's like, I really want more 1v1s to be happening, and we can just all do it on a pretty chill level. We can be super competitive if we feel like it, or we can be really low level competitive and just have fun doing it and be able to have a lot of fun videos. It doesn't have to be the two best players in the world playing in order for it to be a good video.
Oh yeah.
So just people of similar skill level playing, I think would just be awesome, and that's my dream.
And we're getting a lot of new players in, so if you're interested in getting into this format, this Kohan duel thing, these 1v1s, 2v2s, we're starting to expand in that territory. It's a good time to get in and get learning, You'll be caught right up with everybody in no time.
Hell yeah. All right, man. We want to jump into this game?
Let's do it.
Alrighty. So today, this was from the Kohan Duels Ascension tournament, and we have, in the left, we have Tau as Nationalist, and in the right, we have BoNT as Royalist. Let's get this game going.
All right.
What openers do you think we're going to get out of these guys today?
I suspect BoNT will be doing something with, he's settling a bunch. He's getting his macro together. Now, this isn't something you have to do as Royalist. You can go for quarry engineers and, try and do something similar to how you've seen my opens.
Yep.
But this is a solid way of getting your econ rolling, and I think it has a little bit more GPM in the long run than rushing for those indies.
Yeah, which is really what BoNT seems to be wanting. He's such a strong macro player. Now, over here from Tau, we see that he immediately got these long engineers. Quarry Woodmill into long engineers, and those engineers immediately go for his Ancient Ruin. So this is pretty standard Nationalist play, yeah?
Yeah, because you really don't want that ruin sniped by a Royalist scout, because they have 2 company limit, you have 1, you kind of have to make sure that they're not over there doing some funky business.
Absolutely.
Long engineers for Nationalist are actually quite effective because they're closer to combat engineers in stats, so they almost function as something between a Dragoon and a utility unit.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys aren't familiar with the patch, the Nationalists have a special engineer that it's a modified combat engineer, and they're not too much better than regular engineers, but they have a bit more HP. I believe they have a bit more movement too. They have 24, a bit more HP, and then they have the faster build time. So it just gives Nationalists that little boost and that little kind of unique power at the beginning of the game. And then we see scouts coming out for him. Long scouts, long engineers. And over here for BoNT, he's got these long scouts. And getting his upgrade, immediately going for a billet. Very standard for Royalist. Billet is just such a unique building that pretty much every Royalist build ever is going to involve a billet in your main.
Yeah, but it's pretty much a fire sale all day on your units. You know, like
exactly.
Footman for what, 12 gold? It's pretty handy. He's doing some Cyrus micro, dumping the elemental.
So we see he has Cyrus in the dev, elemental summoning Kohan, perhaps one of the more powerful ones, or at least one of the more annoying ones to play against.
Early game, he has quite the power spike. That elemental is he essentially summons an elemental which has 400 hit points and an earth burst spell.
Yeah, pretty insane. Okay, and you can see that both players are going to claim their runes at about the same time. BoNT got his a little quicker, but we have Nava over here with the Long Engineer Company is going to easily be able to take these Shadelings, and this is going to give 90 gold to each player. And they're splitting that easily. There's no contesting over these ruins. We see Tau is coming up here, trying to perhaps get the ruins before BoNT does, but sees that BoNT has already got them. And we have these two long scouts barely coming. They actually might not even see each other, actually.
Well, I think the long scouts from BoNT might have vision because of their support slots being filled out.
Oh, you're actually absolutely right. So there's a good chance that he sees them, but Tau did not quite yet. But they're definitely seeing each other soon. And let's see. He also has Jordan. So Cyrus and Jordan. And what about Jordan? He seems like kind of such a basic Kohan.
He's pretty basic.
An unexciting one.
You know by his stats that he has well-rounded melee stats. 44 is pretty decent on the attack value. 12 is above average for armor. You know.
He's
got that range resist and that archery foe, cavalry foe that helps him fight protection Kohan on horses. You know, it's a pretty well-rounded Kohan.
Yeah, pretty solid. So we're at about the 5-minute mark, and we're looking. Tau is at plus 41, and BoNT is at plus 40. So they are right together in terms of economy. They're both doing such standard openings. If we go over here and see Tau's main, he actually went for the full econ opening. He went for the quarry and the woodmill off of his 2-component main, which is, again, pretty much every Nationalist build is going to do that. Yeah. And then after that, just goes into iron export and factory. Now that factory has given him a supply range of this Ironwood Grove if he chooses to take it. And he's just got a really standard opening, which, again, we were talking about Tau doing sneaky stuff, but he's going completely standard this game.
He's showing a lot of respect out of to BoNT here, and he's also making sure BoNT is playing honestly, checking that ruin and everything earlier.
Yep.
He has done the one thing which can happen to you when you're playing Nationalist, is getting stuck at 2-2.
Mm-hmm. And so he's forced to take an Indy at this point. He has no other choice unless he's going to disband one of his units, which would be silly. So going for a very, very safe way to take this Haroon. He could have easily taken it without that outpost. I mean, the Haroon militia is pretty pathetic. Even though they had been increased a bit in this patch, they're still very easy to take when you get in melee range of an archer militia.
Right. It helps secure that, but also it stops it from being stolen. If BoNT were to arrive suddenly with 3 more companies or something, and he takes that Haroon, he won't be able to raise it unless everything is out of that zone of guard around it, including that outpost, which adds about 2 minutes of time.
Very good point. Yeah, so that's really going to help him, again, just take it very safely. He's playing a very safe game. Now, over here, BoNT, he went for his first settlement right near the iron. So it's a little bit more out there. You can see the supply zones are not quite as connected as if he put his settlement in a safer spot, like right out front or in the little nook here. So that was, I guess, for BoNT, a bit more of a risky play than I would usually expect. Not that I have any doubt that he's going to use these settlers to start to fill in those gaps of supply, but he really wanted that iron as soon as possible to get his favorite company.
He could be running a bazaar, or he's running long infantrymen. Right. Yeah,
long infantry.
That is the purpose for it.
And this is great.
Did he name them?
Yes. A long infantry named Ham Boning.
Ham Boning, yeah.
Everyone knows that Ham has a bone. Don't forget it. Yep. Tau is coming over here and starting to look at what's going on with these scouts. And BoNT is going over here and poking around as well. At this point, they're both just starting to look around, see what the opponent is doing. Their econs are pretty much exactly the same as where they were last time we checked in. They're both at about plus 40. And they're starting to get their military up. Getting the Slan is definitely a pretty big boost for BoNT, and the Haroon is Well, he'll be getting it very soon, presumably. It looks like he actually got fended off by the Haroon.
Right. The elemental so Cyrus actually did a pretty big number on their morale earlier, attacking them with that company. So he's actually achieved something with those early fights, injuring the morale to the point where Haroon militia scared them off. So that'll be a little bit of a hamper to Tau's economy. I bet he's waiting on that gold, and he's really wanting to pop out 2 settlers and use that factory supplies it to settle twice. ASAP.
Oh, yep. Yep, I absolutely agree. And look at this. We see that's exactly what we were talking about. Sorceresses on Bowman. This is a build that he had pulled off versus you as Nationalist on this map and did very well. He beat you in that game, and I was really impressed earlier in the tournament when he pulled out those Sorceresses. And now he's finding a good build against Nationalists and doing it again.
Yeah, they can punish a lot of mobility, and they can punish just straight army fights too. They're good against summoners. They lock them down. Like, you summon an elemental, you do your dance, they get frozen in place. You don't really get much done from the Nationalist side.
Absolutely. So at 10 minutes here, we got plus 47 against plus 44. Again, pretty neck and neck, and usually I will say BoNT's economy is higher at this point. I'm looking at his main, and I didn't catch what he had before, but did he have an econ building that he sold for the library, or did he go straight for that library?
I believe it was a quarry.
Oh, that would absolutely...
Oh, maybe it wasn't.
No, yeah.
There. But that could also have just... he may have gotten the engineers out of his main and then sold the quarry. That's something you do typically whenever you just... you need that slot, you know?
For sure.
You know, get your engineers out a little bit quicker. Yeah.
Either way, he now has a library there, so he really has no econ building to speak of. Now, he has the Carpentry Guild sitting in his salon. I imagine, and he's got his Haroon, so he's got his 2 indies right now. I imagine he's going to start pumping out some econ buildings, but we'll see. He might be trying to play a little bit more of an aggressive game, especially against Tau, who is known to be a little bit sneakier and a little bit more aggressive sometimes.
Right.
Double settling, though. Look at this.
There's those 2 settlers. He got them out, and they heal while settling. If you have that factory, that zone of supply can speed it up immensely.
Yeah,
those settlers in not quite in the zone of supply, pulling off what they need to do. So it's gonna be a little bit slower than normal, but yeah.
But the idea is there. So Tau is really working on his macro here, and he's like going for the long game here, not trying to do anything sneaky. No one has started to go for the middle hotspots or the corner hotspots, but right as I say that, we see BoNT over there constructing a Royalist outpost. Dylan's hold is going down to try to take control of this golden stone in the corner of the map. So he is really making a move here to start to show some dominance in map control. I guess he sees the opportunity. He sees that Tau is not doing anything to bully him around on the map at this point. I don't know how much he scouted, but he very well could have seen those 2 settlements going down if he scouted those areas. I doubt he did this one, but at least seeing this settlement outpost go down, he kind of was able to see that through the fog of war and be like, okay, Tau is looking like he's going to be hunkering down a little bit. I'm going to use this opportunity to take some map control and take some mines in the corner of the map.
And that outpost down there is quite handy because not only can he settle next to it without waiting because his settlers are being zone of supply healing while setting up, it'll double down the defense of those 2 very important mines if he decides to do that later. You know,
absolutely,
it's a strong position.
And so now, a few minutes later, at the 13-minute mark, we see both players' economies are starting to get up there. BoNT has gotten ahead by just a little bit, plus 84 to plus 74, and Tau is just now taking his Slan. He already got his Haroon much earlier in the game. So both players are, in a fairly similar position, hunkering down for the macro game. Both of them have gotten their indies. I will say BoNT's army looks a little bit better at this point.
Yeah, so that's something that he did go for library units early, and so far he's been sitting on them. Like, while he may be safe, he hasn't used them or used that mana to punish his opponent any.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So he's, Tau has been able to, perhaps would have been able to capitalize on that by not putting all his resources in. But at the end of the day, they're both at the same economy right now, plus 90 to plus 84. So I like BoNT's play. He's definitely starting to be able to have a big presence in the middle of the map. And even though those library units haven't paid off, the fact that he has them, there are so many different things that could have happened where they would have paid off. So I like the safety of getting that.
Exactly. It's a defensive use of the library units. He's trusting he'll get his economy from these mines. He's not too worried about doing huge macro plays outside of that because they're very secure right? If something were to happen in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. And so plus 105 we're at now from BoNT. So his economy is really starting to skyrocket. He played this really smart. He went for a little bit slower economy than usual just to get himself set up and safe, which I think was really smart given the player and given the map and everything. But then as soon as he got himself to that position, he wasted no time in getting his economy where it needs to be.
Right. Because if Fast Disciples were to come out or something like that, he would be good behind militia with those crossbows and sorcerers. Those bowmen and sorcerers.
Absolutely. And you can see he's continuing to macro, getting more settlers. He's really happy with his position right now. He already took the corner, and now he's getting the middle. At the same time, it looks like Tau is staging himself to get the middle. And so Tau looks like he's just like a tiny bit behind in terms of what both players are trying to do. Tau was a bit behind getting the Slan. He's a bit behind getting these mines, and he hasn't even looked at these mines yet. And he's behind in his military as well. He's just getting his library tech out now, and he's getting those footmen and summoners. But BoNT's been sitting on his library tech for a good little bit. Plus, he has those long infantry, which Tau has nothing of the sort.
Yeah. Looking at it, the long infantry would make a good match for those combat engineers. 1-to-1, I think the engineers might be slightly favored, but the nationalist engineers rather.
Look at this.
Long boning and mana, yikes.
He got a fortified wall over here, and that is very, very safe play.
Yeah, he's totally paranoid of some kind of early aggression coming from the Royalist player. Now, this isn't a bad move because Nationalist is not favored early versus Royalist. Just because of company size limit, they usually want to hit a mid-game timing where they have their force multipliers, their zealots, their fanatics, a few companies of summoners.
Very interesting.
That could be his reasoning for going to defensive open. He doesn't want to keep units down there. He wants to keep them in the mid.
Yeah, I guess he kind of just doesn't want to think about that because on Destiny, as we've seen, you can so easily have battles fighting on 3 fronts. Like that game of you versus Tau, there was literally battles happening on all 3 possible central locations in this map. And so I think Tau just wanted to put that there to say, like, I don't want to think about this location for a while. I want it to be heavily fortified so I can focus on the rest of the map. And here we have the first engagement starting to happen. Summoners are throwing out their golems, doing what they do best, and we're not having a retreat here. He's actually engaging here. And it looks like the captain actually went down here.
This could be deadly for the summoner company.
Yes, absolutely. If they got a bad route, that could be really bad. So that just looks like a little bit of mismanagement in the micro there. He might not have been completely paying attention, or he might have thought they could do more than they could. Either way, they get away. Not any huge loss. They'll come back. And we have some long Rainbringers coming out here. Okay, so he's going for that DPS in the back row, getting that bit of a front line with the footmen and the engineers. He's set up all right, but I'm still a lot more impressed with BoNT's military right now.
Right. He's essentially, if you're going to go something like pure long Rainbringers, you want to get it early in the game so that they have time to get experience and garner value that way, because their DPS isn't so much lower than Magicians that you're losing a lot by doing it.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's their DPS compared to regular bowmen? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think they have 6 points higher. You can check real quick. 28 versus, I think, 24.
Yeah. Well, 20% is their 80% because they're in skirmish.
Oh, yeah.
But these guys are in skirmish as well. So 25.
Oh, well, yeah.
28 versus 25 when they're in skirmish mode.
That will make a point or two difference while you're counting like experience points, because it works on a percentage. And and in war formation, it'll be significantly
Yep.
Also, they tend to win trades because they have a huge DV against range attacks.
Oh, yes, they do. Plus 10. Wow. Very interesting.
Yeah. It's almost like having a wizard or two snap.
Yeah. Absolutely. I can see why that would be a choice to make then if he sees the bowman out of his opponent. So we got plus 136 versus plus 129. So Tau actually slightly got ahead in economy, but for all practical purposes, they're pretty much exactly the same economy.
Yeah, with the quality of the military being slightly favored towards the Royalist, actually.
Yeah, I mean, we got
more mana units on the field.
And we got 4 companies to 7. I mean, Tau just has these 3 that we're seeing right here, plus some engineers out somewhere. Whereas BoNT is up to 9 companies. Look, oh, cool. 2 of them are settlers. Holy shit.
2 more settlers. That is the expansionist greed of the Royalists.
The expansionist greed of BoNT in particular. It always, I love watching him because it's always like times in the game where I would be like, all right, time to do something, time to like put some pressure on. BoNT's like, nope, I'm gonna get 2 more settlers.
Right, why not? Royalists, they struggle in the mid game versus this Nationalist army, right? So he's hoping to get away with as much companies, as much ground as he can take, and even if he loses some of it, it's not that big of a loss.
Yeah,
if he has a net positive,
and he's just gonna have so much to fall back on here. But making a very good stand in the middle. He has the 2nd company of Bowmen with Sorceress coming out. Their Sorceress are not up, but both of them are out here and in the fight. Oh, that's a 3rd. He has 3 Bowmen with Sorceress. Holy shit. And he's got
critical mass.
Yeah, I would say that absolutely is critical mass. I mean, I don't think you need to make another company of those. He might prove us wrong, but I think 3 is probably the number that he wants to be at to really get the value out of that company.
And also there becomes a point of diminishing returns because your enemies, the Nationalists, they're going to start transitioning to Invoker tech, getting the spell immune, really nullifying some of the benefits of those sorcerers. But they'll always have something to hit. And as long as they have something to hit, you can get value out of them. With 6 sorceresses?
Yes,
like that?
6 sorcerers.
3 companies of 2? Yeah. He can stun an entire company of an opponent pretty much. Like 6 stuns,
Yep. Okay, so Tau is going here and poking again. And again, he's not doing the micro that we expect to see where he just sends the golems in and then runs back. He's just sending this company in and retreating very late. All of the footmen went down. So
he has made the adjustment of command for that captain, which is good. He's no longer running in.
Yes, that is a very important adjustment. But there wasn't really any damage that was done there. He kind of just went and suicided a few units.
He's keeping tabs on him. He's seeing what companies he has there. He's trying to keep him honest. That would be my perspective if I was this Nationalist player.
Oh, and BoNT's going for the counterattack. And I think this is the right timing. Like you said, he's got that critical mass. He just saw Tau throw away a few units. And so he's like, now's the time. Okay, doing a forward outpost. He's serious about this attack. He doesn't have the biggest front line with just ham boning, but ham boning can bone some ham. So I think he might end up better than I'm thinking here. But those infantry are going down fairly fast with the DPS from all of those bowmen. That's 12 bowmen in the back there, but it's not going to be enough because that infantry party has completely gone down. Captain is running away. And Tau took a lot of damage there. But these scouts are able to get up front. The engineers are going to be able to get in there and do a bit of damage. It's a close battle. Tau is pushing him back, but is he going to be able to push him back enough to get that outpost out of there? Because as long as BoNT can keep that outpost up, then this has been a success. BoNT's engineers are getting in the battle there and providing more of a front line that ham boning is no longer able to provide. These bowmen look like they got a bad route because I don't know where they're going.
Oh, he's coming in from the north with lancers and short scouts.
Holy shit, how did we miss that? I saw them moving around, but oh my god.
Yeah, that took away the militia, meaning they have nowhere to retreat to after that fight. There's no safety, there's no front line there. He can do his raid here. He can
look at this. Look at this. 2 short lancers coming in from behind. Oh my god, that was honestly pretty masterful. He did a really good job there. Yeah. I mean, we didn't even notice those guys coming in from the back. I can't even imagine how Tau felt when he saw those lancers coming in. But Tau's got some companies.
He did get those mine raises, so Tau's economy reeling a little bit after that.
Yeah, I mean, even if BoNT runs away here and doesn't take this outpost, then he's still got Tau's economy down by a pretty good bit. We're at plus 133 to plus 141, so pretty similar. Again, still 4 companies to 9 companies. And this time, this is not just 2 settlers. This is 9 military companies that are out there and doing a lot of damage.
And that's the real takeaway for this econ. It may look similar, but the quality of army still on the Royalist quite high. The Disciples with a Paladin, this is an early way of getting spell immune and not paying for that Invoker upgrade. It's a pretty interesting take on it.
I mean, yeah, that's a smart reaction to the Sorceress.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I was wondering about the Paladin for a sec. I honestly forgot about the spell immune. That makes a lot of sense seeing all these Sorcerers come out. Okay, and these guys are getting in. They're starting to do their punching thing. I think they're going to be able to do a good bit of damage. And these Wind Riders really need to get in there and start actually doing some damage and adding to the DPS here. but he is just keeping both of his archers back. He's letting his front line just go in there and get decimated. But look at how much damage these guys are doing. Sebastian is going down, though. Protection is really good on those disciples, but Sebastian took a lot of damage. Down to 47, but he's able to get them out in time. And it looks like he's going to be able to kind of hold BoNT back a little bit here. I think
really cutting it close with those melee companies.
I know. I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was just an error kind of leaving the DPS back for a moment. I can't imagine it was on purpose because all it did was lose some seconds of damage. But either way, he was able to get the front line to kind of stop the front line of BoNT, and then he was able to get his DPS in there to do some damage. Being forced to retreat here with these long Lancers with Jordan on them. And just taking a quick look at the heroes, everybody is still just awakened. Nava has just been used for settling, it looks like. Sebastian's at 55, and we got 46 and 29 for both of BoNT's heroes. So the heroes haven't had a huge impact on this game so far.
Right. The hero quality definitely is with the Nationalist. He has two of the strongest Nationalist Kohans that you can open.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised to see Nava at this point in the game still just sitting back as... she's not even on anything.
Yeah, Nava is actually stronger the earlier you get her out. Sebastian tends to scale better, but Nava is one of those Kohan that you want her out early because that heal, that protection, oof, that is
absolutely
very impactful on these engagements.
And I don't know how...
Ringers,
yeah. I don't know how you play, but by 30 minutes into the game, I'm not holding back a Kohan for settling anymore.
Yeah, especially when you're not at your cap limit. You know, you could just put a Kohan out there with something. You have 9 total, you're using 6. You may as well put a Kohan on that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like BoNT pushed through here. BoNT was able to completely take out this middle area of Tau, and things are looking a lot worse for Tau now. Like, that kind of sucks. That is scary. And holy shit, look at this.
That's a workshops. Ooh, he must build workshop.
God, look at BoNT's economy here. He's sitting at 650 gold. He's at like plus 20 of everything.
Whoa, 600 gold.
Look at that. It keeps going up. He's like barely spending it. What is he?
He's been microing that army. He's been nosing the micro right now.
He has
flipping up on his macro a bit. I'd have to say he could spend this and maybe close out the game with like a rush of just maxed out units. You know, he could go 20 right now.
I know, he's literally out of 20. He could do so much right here. Okay, so he's got the city. I don't know if he's going for Cavs or if he's just going to go for Celebrants or Elementalists or something. He's got to go for some elite tech at this point with all that money he's sitting on. Oh my god.
He could go for Cavaliers because that looks like a lot of resources. But if we were to count it in Cavaliers, he doesn't quite have enough.
I mean, he's not really sitting on any mana. This is not a bad play.
I like this. Yeah.
If he got like a few of these companies, honestly, like he could support that so easily, not tank his econ at all. He could get like 3 or 4 companies, honestly, of infantry with cleric, and that would honestly be a big deal of what his army would need. But okay, going over here, BoNT is continuing to push forward. He is seeing the disciples, double disciples. And these guys are going to both have spell immunity with those paladins, not going to care about the archers, but that's okay because BoNT sees that, and BoNT is not actually even moving the archers into that battle. He is keeping them over here to catch these guys from Tau who are trying to come up from behind and help. So BoNT positioned himself really well there, doing really good micro, just doing really good positioning, I guess, more than anything else. Tau does have the famous Slan company, my favorite company in the game. This is me right here. I'm in the battlefield.
And guiding his fight.
I am guiding Tau's fight. I am on Tau's side this time. As much as I love these sorceresses, I want to eat them alive. And I want to spit some poison at them. Look at me go with my spear there. Yes, I got a kill.
Nice.
All right, Tau is able to hold
the Nationalist cause.
Somebody's gotta.
Right.
These bowmen are going down. Oh, they're done. They are done.
That separated fight seemed to favor the Royalists initially, but those disciples tear through Lancers and Scouts, and that's what they did. They hardly took any damage in that fight that was opposite to the Sorcerer engagement. Absolutely. They're still healthy to go.
Oh, Sebastian gives cavalry resistance. I did not know that. Is that just something unenlightened?
Oh, no, he actually starts with that.
Oh, very cool.
His companies have 10 more acting armor versus...
yeah,
cavalry.
that's kind of insane.
I often forget.
Okay, so Tau was really favored in that fight that happened, and now he's continuing. He's trying to push back on this because he knows he needs to make a move. Tau is really starting to come in with his outpost there, with a fort there. Sorry, BoNT is really starting to come in on Tau with those. So Tau is making a pretty big pushback here, and he's going to be able to easily take this out with the Flying Fist of Fury. And over here, he seems to be doing some pretty good damage with all of that range DPS. Wind Riders are getting out there as the front line because somebody's got to be the front line.
He's almost staunchly digging in his heels here, but he might want to give this space to Tau and just coalesce near his center.
Yeah, I completely agree.
He's a lot having these companies get this injured.
So
he doesn't have much to back it up.
Let's see what he spent. He spent a good bit of money. Okay, he's Grenadier with Cleric Celebrant. He has 2 Grens with Cleric Celebrant, and he has another Bowman with double Sorceress. I'm surprised he didn't go for the Elementalist tech there, especially seeing how Tau's been reacting to the Sorceress, but...
Right, and Grenadier, they're a good unit, but they do not fare well. Even with the 10 with that DV stack, they do not fare well against Disciples. Disciples are pretty much walking can openers. You know,
yeah.
Like they take out any amount of DV. Some of the hardest hitting damage in the game.
So he does have Nava on his other Disciple. So these 2 Disciple companies are fucking scary, especially with an Enlightened Sebastian now.
You know, I could not imagine a more ideal setup for Disciple companies. And they're starting to gather experience as well.
Yeah, let's see what they're at.
Recruit, but they're high in recruit.
Where's the other one at? Yeah, 40 and 41.
Well, that's interesting because Nava came out afterwards, but she
managed
to keep her. you can see that early game strength of Nava coming through there.
Yeah, coming through at 36-minute mark. Okay, and Tau is going over here for an attack on the side, trying to make a move against BoNT. And how is BoNT going to react? He only has some Lancers there in Militia. God,
this is gonna get torn up.
Oh my God, these 2 Disciple companies with these protection Kohans is just unbelievable. This just makes me happy to watch just how much death they are able to produce. So BoNT has these Bowmen back here, but BoNT, it looks like, is making a counterattack over here. Or was it Tau that made the first move? Okay, so Tau also has these Maelstrom engines behind the Rainbringers. This is going to add a lot of DPS to his company. And once the Maelstrom engines really start to shine in the late game when you have enough of a mass of units where their AoE is really effective.
Right, because AoE damage, if it's not killing the units outright, the units are still getting to fight, they're still getting to swing around, even at low hit points.
Oh my God, look at this. We missed this, but Cyrus and Jordan died.
I think that may have happened mid when we were cautioning that he was in danger. Maybe he should fall back. I think.
Oh my God, Ham-boning and Ham-boning 2 just went down.
Oh, Ham-boning 2.
And Tau's economy is ahead. Just going to slip that note in there too. He's ahead by about 25%, 160 versus 120.
And you can see that cap difference. Tau actually, not only that, he has a larger army than the Royalist player currently. This is a devastating position to be in if you're the Royalist. He is winning this main army fight. His Grenadiers, rather, are just arriving, and they should be able to start applying a lot of pressure. Now, all that DV stack is incidentally extremely effective against these Maelstrom engines.
Yep, absolutely. So they're not the best, but they're not the worst here either. So Tau was very successful. It looked like he went over here, took that settlement, raised it, and then had his Disciples join back in the main army. So that was an extremely successful raid. And look at these Disciples. They're completely back up to full.
Yeah,
and
they heal pretty fast.
And they are joining this fight. And they are needed in this fight because BoNT is making a really good pushback for the center location. I mean, Tau has not been able to... Like, he got his wood back, but it's going down again real quick. He's going to probably want to raise that at this point, perhaps. Actually, no, I don't know. BoNT's front line is getting decimated. Those Grens, he has 1 Gren left, but not going to be quite enough.
And they did their job. They ran in there, they took out the enemy front line, and now they're retreating. They're giving his back line a fighting chance. Though his back line had already taken too much punishment from the earlier engagements. So it looks like he's going to manage to push him off that wood mine.
And look at here, we have an astrology hall. Oh, and he's going for your favorite company, my friend. He's going for the Goons with Invoker.
Goons Invoker, this is something that is it's actually a very clean transition. The reverse damage ignores the DV stacking as well, and it's on a large hit point total. So
okay, so BoNT is
able to trade pretty evenly with those Grenadiers.
Yeah, BoNT is in here. It looks like he's gonna take this outpost, I think. Either way, he's got his foot units, in command of the center. So Tau is not doing any mining there, and Tau hasn't pushed a bit back. So BoNT is, a bit ahead in terms of the map control. Tau never took his iron.
Military. Yeah. Military-wise, BoNT has just been a little bit better at managing his units. Though Tau is buying himself back into the game with those raids and such with his disciples.
He absolutely is. Yeah, he was looking really good for a sec, but I think BoNT has done a really good job of recovering from that attack. I think
those Celebrant's clerics healing very fast with that recovery rate.
Yeah, how do you feel about that choice of a company of going for the Grens with the Celebrant cleric at this point in the game?
At this point in the game, I liked it. Although when he'd first initially gotten them, I think he could have gone for more horse archers or something that would work better against those disciples. Though the disciples themselves with Sebastian are actually pretty tanky against horses, including horse archers.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, maybe that's the right call on BoNT's side.
Looking at their econs, they're pretty neck and neck again, except for this. Oh, it just went down. It looks like he just made some goons because he was just at plus 19. Yeah, he made long goons. He was at plus 19 iron for a second. Gone for those goons, but BoNT still has enough iron to make another company. He could easily throw in, some sort of infantry company with a little bit of tech backing there.
And at this point, it's getting very hard for the Royalist player. He doesn't have many great options versus this Nationalist army.
Yeah.
The Nationalist player could easily transition into Zealots or Fanatics. I would like to see some of that just for the force multiplier. But even barring that, he has such a massive amount of DPS. And the Royalist player, he's needing something more. He needs numbers to really combat this.
He absolutely does. And, he used up that great big cache of gold that he has. He's back down to just waiting for his gold to fill up. Okay, so he does have Bowman with double Elementalist. I was kind of waiting for that to come out. I think he really needs like a little bit of long-range DPS, and that's pretty much the best he can get as Royalist at this point in the game.
That's a solid point. It's just incidentally, these DV stack disciples with their innate magic resist are kind of tanky versus Elementalist. They're not gonna suffer too much. That's a hefty amount. You see that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, I think the Elementalist is still going to be able to do a lot of overall damage to the rest of the companies, and hopefully just the critical mass of archers or bowmen is going to be able to do the damage he needs to the disciples.
And he's just hitting so many companies, they're all bunched up, and you can just see those red damage.
I know, yeah, look at that. Okay, a lot of damage happening here. Big battle. Tau has reclaimed his center. He's got his wood mining. Perhaps he'll get that gold at some point. Perhaps he won't. But either way, he has taken down the fort. There's another fort of BoNT in the center. And if he's able to take back this fort, then he will be able to reverse pretty much the foothold that BoNT has had the entire game over this middle.
Yeah, and BoNT has mostly filled out his side of the map for settling, so we can't expect too much more economically from him. He may want to start trading components for libraries because he needs something more. He's lacking on the tech front, and he's starting to sink.
WTF that pathing. I don't know what happened, Tau, but...
in the middle here, there's usually some kind of pathing error. It's pretty narrow. There's a lot of water, and that's often just caused by routing. So a little bit of player error on Tau's part, possibly.
Exactly. When it gets to this point in the game, it's so hard to prevent at least some routes from happening in a battle. Like, if you're on top of your micro so much where you're retreating everything when it needs to, then you're probably beyond all of our levels. You should be a StarCraft pro.
Could you check those Rainbringers? Are those with those with magicians on the Rainbringers up there, or are those the?
Yep.
Okay, they are
double musician.
There is that unique tech, the Conductor, I believe, or something.
Yeah, the Wild. Yeah,
down for that.
Conductor was my original name. We changed it to Wild Seeker.
Wild Seeker, yeah, that's it. That haste is not half bad if you can get that company with like DPS Kohan or something. I imagine you can make good use of it.
No, I really like that company, and if I've used it in quite a few 1v1s. Using the Wild Seeker. I think we're still trying to figure out all the utility of
these elite casters for these indies. Yeah, they didn't get much use in this tournament because I think people are just uncertain if it's a good investment or it's a tech on what's normally using for economy, these 4 slots.
Yes, so exactly.
But I think that's kind of the point of those. Not as intuitive, but you can figure something out with them.
Exactly, they're not supposed to break the game. I mean, I know I've seen Quarry Slaves used. I don't know if any tournament games, but I know you have used Stranglers on Vargan against me. I remember being really pissed off one game where you just dominated me with Garis with Stranglers.
Yeah, they're an interesting tech unit in the Heaven's Grift is effective. Well, we got a fight here.
Yes, we do. We have triple full goons for BoNT, and I saw him making these over to the side. Really, really just dumping all his iron. Has the Harks in the back, super Harks actually. So he has a pretty good mobile force here, and he's trying to do it. He's trying to do this big pincer attack where he's trying to draw Tau over here. Hasn't been totally successful. Tau is actually not overreacting here, and he's just sitting tight because I think he knows that the pincer attack is coming. So Tau is kind of okay with just letting his position slip a little bit here, but he's not going to like do this big overreaction and move his big middle force. He's going to sit there and be there for BoNT when he comes.
Right. I almost would have liked to see those Master Goons or something like this earlier in the game. Even if he had just gone double Lancers for a company of Dragoons when he was floating all that iron.
And look at this. I don't know if you saw on the screen real quick. These guys are not even in a company. They're just sitting there. Meanwhile, Tau, Nava, and Sebastian are awakened and kicking ass on those disciples.
Yeah, that is a huge multiplier. In Kohan, the game is named for them. And they add a significant, modifier to your armies and multiplier. Like, they're getting experience, they get to ascend and restored, they can start winning the game.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I'd
that 5%.
I'd say they're already starting to win the game. Like, they are the reason why these disciple parties are so fucking strong.
And he changed. He made new disciples, I think.
This new disciples with Invoker and Fanatic.
She didn't die. He just moved her over to this company, and this is a more effective disciple company, more defense value, more attack. It's extremely devastating.
God, Fanatic Invoker with an Enlightened Nava too. This is a fucking scary party. And he was able to push back BoNT's side attack just fine.
Oh yeah, that 15% armored, and as well as fixing their DV problems. Like, it's hard for Dragoons to deal with this.
I've really loved how, as we've been playing 1v1s and just playing Kohan in general, kind of our personalities have come out as players. And if there's one thing to sum up Tau's personality, it's fucking disciples.
It's Kung Fu Jesus. It
absolutely is.
He's turning water into water-splitting rock. It's amazing. And I think that really encapsulates Tau as a person too. He's just fallen in love with this company. It's a little cheesy, it's very effective.
Oh, it's just a little cheesy. You know what I mean? It's just the right amount of cheesy.
yeah, exactly. Just a little. It's not like it's absurd. Like, you see disciples and you think, what's this guy doing?
Yeah,
you see disciples and you do have to consider what the implications of them are. You have this scaling company that does great with experience. It's extremely effective if it has protection Kohans on it. And in the right situations, they can make short work of most things. Hell, they can beat up a lead guard, as you saw in my game.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, chop suey, my guys.
That was so funny. I was not expecting that. All right, so both of their economies are about the same. I mean, at this point in the game, economies don't really grow too much more. There's opportunities for economies to grow if Tau did want to come and snag these, but
both players not expanding to the stones. And also, Tau definitely could expand a few more times. I wouldn't mind seeing that, just because his cap limit is becoming a problem. He might have to upgrade. He has two available. He should probably pump out 2 settlers with that 500. That
easily
he had the mine to
put one of them here, and he's filled out the rest of his space.
And like, those stone mines have been neglected by both players, not feeling safe enough to just travel down there and set something up.
Mm-hmm. And stone mines are nothing to scoff at. You know what I mean? Having extra stone is very valuable.
Right. Like, if you get it and you start floating some stone, you can start selling off you can use your quarries as stone exports, and that's 5 GPM per quarry that you happen to have.
Absolutely. Okay, we see BoNT over here getting in defensive mode. He's getting watchtowers. In this settlement,
I like it on this village specifically because it gives a large amount of vision over this map, including over that lake.
Yeah, he'll be able to see over here.
If he were to lose that position, as you can see, he'd be able to control still, and also it protects his center. So it works out for him.
This is so interesting. We got this little bit of a lull right now. Both players are like, they've just been fighting so hard for so long, and then everyone's just taking a breather. But Tau, of course, is going to be the first one to stop that. I don't necessarily see him winning this fight at all. In fact, there's no way he's going to win this fight with triple goons here.
Yeah, he's creating some pressure. These companies are in danger if he were to press past their formation, get a bit of a wraparound. He's doing the retreat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so BoNT is really trying to punish Tau for what he's doing here. But Tau is immediately saying, fuck you, I'm just going to go with the main attack. Going in, he has these double goons with Disciple I'm sorry, with Invoker in the back. He's got these amazing Disciple companies we've talked about so much, and he's got these 3 Rainbringer DPS companies, one of them with Magicians, 2 of them with Maelstrom engines. So he has a lot. These are just really strong companies. A lot of DPS, a lot of tanking in the front, and Kung Fu Jesus. Like, what is BoNT gonna do against that?
This is pretty hard. I think the quality sits with. Oh, this is just the AOE damage seems to be.
I mean, those.
It's a bit of a. You can't really tell which direction this fight's going.
I mean, Tau, I think, is winning. Both of their. Disciples went down.
Rainbringer.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Sebastian.
Damage.
Dude, look at this. Sebastian and Navo went down.
Oh, that is devastating. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think powerful potential raiding forces. He could have used them in the south to maybe swing this game open.
Holy shit. I think Nava went down. Sorry, I think Nava went down over here. I think she was on that raid, and then Sebastian went down in this frontal attack. Oh my god, that was a huge turning point in the game, I will say.
Yeah, and these Rainbringers, they do have a weakness. They have lower hit points than normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the normal archers, and those elementalists happen to just be making short work of them. You know, a few meteors hitting the back line, something like that, and these guys are going down.
All right, BoNT is over here. I wonder if BoNT realized that those 2 Kohan went down, because that is just like, it's such a big, there's such a big focus on those 2 Disciple companies and how powerful those Enlightened Kohan were.
Yeah, and Sebastian, he's getting set back down to just protection, and he has so much growth on experience. True Blessing is incredible on these Disciples, and he was nearing it. It's another power spike in the game where that company can take out militia like nothing.
Yeah, and that's just not going to happen now. Like, there's no way they're going to get back up to that unless this game goes on for another hour. But
all right.
Well,
and I would like to see more action in the south. Tau has it open as a venue, but at the same time, he might feel he doesn't have enough companies to actually spread himself thin.
Yeah, he's at 11 companies versus Tau's 14, so he's not too behind, but he doesn't have very many mobile companies. I mean, all these goons are being slowed down by the Invokers. He's got these Rainbringers are being slowed down immensely by the Maelstrom engines. So he's really got a composition that is geared towards hunkering down the middle here.
And maybe that's just me reaching, because at one point you're hoping for something to break it up, but as Nationalist, you really want like one good mainline fight.
Yeah. BoNT has a good side army over here that I really think is going to be making a raid soon, because there is another just kind of, no winner, no loser battle happening in the middle here. Yeah, both players just have a lot of AoE damage at this point. So with
the Crescent is favoring Tau with those Maelstrom engines.
Yep.
As they're able to pile in that DPS, but as soon as BoNT retreats far enough, it starts to reverse, where he will be able to position in a Crescent, and Tau will be the one in a bottleneck with these companies standing on top of each other.
Okay, BoNT is going over here, and I like the timing. I think the timing was perfect. After there's this standstill in the middle, he goes over here with a very strong army of 3 full goons, 2 super harks, and he's got this one company of Grens with the Cleric Celebrant background. And so this is going to be very strong, and Tau is definitely feeling a little bit decimated here. Tries to get these Dragoons and Invokers over here for a little bit of an arc, tries to get these guys in, but it's just not really going to do enough, I don't think, to be able to stop BoNT's army.
Yeah, and here, with the greater sizes, he could spread up his units a bit more, and win these battles a little more decisively. But as it is, he's kind of piling them in, and they're having some pathing issues.
Yeah.
Not everyone's hitting at the same time, but they are all engaged.
So he's able to barely push through, but his front line is completely decimated. So these Harks getting through are just going to easily be able to get stopped by whatever Tau is going to be able to throw back at him.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, Disciples.
Yeah, Disciples. It's like Flex Seal. You just it fixes everything.
I literally broke something today that I was thinking I need to buy some Flex Seal for that to fix. No shit. Like an hour ago, I was thinking, I kind of need to go buy some Flex Seal.
Yeah, and that is how Tau kind of views his Disciples. Like if there's a hole in it, just stick a Disciple.
Stick a Disciple in there. They'll kind of get in there. They'll fit. They'll fit right into this.
It works long enough. It's not a long-term solution, but it gets the job done.
Yep. So we got both of the middle armies are just sitting back. Just judging from these fights, if BoNT really wants to win in this fight in the middle, he needs a little bit more front line. And he also might need to just micro his front line a little bit better, because those Grenadiers, when they stack on top of each other, are just getting decimated so quickly.
Yeah, horses their models are a little bit larger than infantry, so you don't really want them all stacked on top of each other, because melee lives and dies by surface area. And a lot of the time you see these archer mobs, and they're like, oh, this is so effective. It's, well, you need proper surface area for your melee companies to really get the most out of them. Otherwise, you're just not getting their damage through. They're behind each other, they're stacked up, they're waiting to rotate in, until one dies, instead of all fighting at the same time.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, I mean, this smaller choke point here does make it hard for either side's melee companies to get in there and really maximize themselves at this point in the game when they have this much. But
yeah, at this point in the game, and this is one of the things that can happen on this map, it's not really a negative to it, but if you haven't gotten a foothold somewhere on your enemy's side, you will be fighting in these choke points a lot. And you kind of want to drag the fight somewhere away from, the enemy's outposts and stuff like that. Maybe threaten to swing around.
Okay, and BoNT is trying to make a move over here. I'm sorry, Tau is trying to make a move over here, but BoNT is able to respond. And yeah, like you said, just look at all these Dragoons like in the background, not even able to get into the fight right now.
Yeah, they're wanting to. You can see they're kind of fidgety. They're fidgety.
Oh, they're antsy. They want to get the fuck in there.
Yeah.
They've been training their whole life to be Dragoons, and then they just have to sit in the back line behind some other Dragoons. Fuck that. They want their chance to. They want their chance to go out there and die in 3 seconds.
Look at that. That could be me.
Which is exactly what happened to all of them.
Oh, bad root on the Dragoons. This isn't the most expensive one.
No, it's not. It's not. Does he have an armory guild?
No, he doesn't. But
he does not have the armory guild. But look at this. We have Cavs. We have Cavaliers coming out with Celebrant.
This is a kicker. This is a game changer.
It is.
We've been waiting for something like Elite Guards, some kind of tech to come out.
Yeah, we have not seen Elite Guards at all yet. And he's got all the necessary tech over there. I mean, he's fully upgraded here with Nightbringer. He's
preferring the more mobile options rather than Grenadiers with Invokers and Fanatics, or Grenadiers with Invokers and Clerics. He's going for these Dragoon, Disciple, Invoker companies, which I think are a better mid-game transition, but then they don't provide you that meaty front line that you'd like for the end game.
Yeah.
So and also I think a big component missing from Tau's army has been, because he's using all his mana on Disciples, he doesn't quite have the mana for Fanatics and Zealots, which really, that 32% damage vulnerability can make a huge difference in these engagements.
Yeah, he's been throwing Fanatics on his Disciple parties, but that's pretty much all I've seen there.
They also have great synergy with these Maelstrom engines, if you were to have Wash of Pain.
We do have one Bowman company with Fanatic Zealot. So I think
he made that recently.
Yeah, he must have.
Seen that fight? Yeah.
No, I mean,
this is actually
for experience.
Such a big deal. This is such a big deal for him. This is the Cavalier for him. It may not be as impactful, but you can tell that it's going to make a difference in their mainline fight.
We got another little lull here. So interesting.
Definitely going to have to prefer BoNT's position.
I do too, with those Cavaliers coming out.
Effective.
Also, not for nothing, but he's at plus 190 versus plus 145. So his econ, it is both players have very good econs, but his is still a bit better. And the longer this game goes, the more that is going to show up as an advantage.
Yeah, and Tau does have some space to settle on his side of the map. Those two locations you pointed out, the iron deposit and the position directly next to it. And if he filled that out, he would be in so much better of a position. He would have two more company limit. 16 versus 20 isn't as bad.
And he's at cap right now. Now look, he is going over here, taking that stone finally, and he got a fort up here. So he is really trying to push forward in this location and kind of actually start making moves.
His money,
Yeah, he's at 375. He really needs to spend his money. Yeah, he should definitely get that iron, if nothing else. Even if he doesn't settle over here, getting a settlement to that iron and being able to start to mine from that, that's going to be a whole nother company. Okay, he's got more bowmen with Fanatic Zealot coming out. So he is starting to transition into this. I want to go back to what you were saying before, though. Talking about like a Grenadiers with Invoker cleric background. I feel like that's something that the meta shifted a lot, that we used to see that company a lot more out of Nationalist, and in this tournament I feel like I barely ever saw that kind of company going on.
Well, I kind of spearheaded the anti-cleric Grenadier company.
Yeah,
namely in favor of Fanatic Grenadier. And to an extreme, whoa, okay, we have got a combat here.
We got it. Yeah, we will. That's side talk right now. Over here, so we do have stuff going on both fronts. BoNT is just slowly poking around over here, but the big battle is happening over here, and a lot of Dragoons are running into each other. How are these Cavaliers faring? Lost 2, but there's 3 still up. These Horse Archers have got to get in here and start doing some DPS. Let's see, we got the supply zone, we got the militia coming out from Tau. That's going to help him a little bit in his position. Some Dragoons are going down for BoNT, and it looks like Tau is favored here, but BoNT is also holding back a little bit. Like I said, there's some of these Horse Archers that never really got into the battle, and so there's a lot of DPS missing there. But Tau is looking like he's coming out favored here.
Yeah, and that... Oh, and then pushed in the mid.
Yep.
I think that fight will favor Tau again, actually.
We will see. BoNT makes the counter push here. And again, Tau is the one with the outpost helping him on the defensive there. BoNT is continuing to...
It seems to be the case that an attack on one side spurs an action on the other.
Oh my god, look at this.
Make sure that your enemies can't... Oh,
Grenadiers,
wow.
Disciples, Bowmen, a lot of companies going down. It looks like Sebastian went down again. Nava is still just at Awake and was never able to quite recover from that. And over on BoNT's side, I mean, Cyrus is still not doing anything. He has not been on a company for a very long time. But Jordan is on these Cavaliers. It is starting to gain some experience. But we're still just looking at Awake and Kohan here. And yeah, you were completely right. Tau did win on this side. Go on.
And I would say that you could put Cyrus pretty easily onto one of those Horse Archer companies to have him start gathering some experience. And also, an extra Earth Burst is worth the... he already has them open. You might as well use them.
Mm-hmm.
Just put him on a DPS company in the back line. It'll be pretty safe. BoNT losing engineers. Well, this is actually starting to favor Tau pretty heavily.
This really is after these 2 battles. I mean, Tau did a really good job, like getting this settlement up here and starting to really take a foothold in this position and really showing BoNT that he was serious about pushing over there.
And something that's interesting playing out here is the Cavalier really just added to the problem. They had no surface area for those fights. Like they're getting stuck behind Dragoons. The Dragoons are getting stuck behind Cavalier, and it kind of just exacerbated the lack of DPS in his backline.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, if you're going to go for these Cavalier companies, something that's useful to consider is deep raiding on the enemy's territory. Get them around where you suspect there's very few companies and do some damage.
And you know what? He could have, because BoNT and Tau, no one has made a move over here. Nothing.
Oh, yeah. And Cavalier would make sure it worked with that kind of...
It absolutely would have. Like, if BoNT wanted an opportunity to make a raid to really catch Tau off guard, he could have gone over there, and that really would have forced a reaction out of Tau.
Yeah, and but now you'll see that even though he's lost a lot of Dragoons, these Cavalier are going to hold up adequately, and this is kind of what
he's about to go down.
Doing the whole time.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Grenadiers go down, Dragoons go down, those Cavaliers are pretty much done. Jordan is killed. Yeah. The Celebrant is going to be able to get away probably, but this is starting to look really bad for BoNT. Tau is starting to make a powerful push in the middle here, and it's, I don't think he's going to quite break him right now, but he's breaking him on this side.
Yeah, and it's a little bit surprising because the army size is mattering less and less the more tech you're seeing, and that is partially because of this Fanatic Invoker. I mean, this Fanatic
Zealot, yeah.
It really is this force multiplier, this kicker that makes a smaller army capable of defeating a larger amount. It's one of the main things that makes Nationalist so devastating in the mid game.
Wow.
Especially on even numbers, this is extremely dangerous. And
yeah,
the amount of melee companies, and I believe BoNT is missing something that Tau has, and that's real DPS. That's Magicians, that's Maelstrom Engine.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean,
single target damage.
So much of Tau's DPS came from a Haroon settlement that BoNT has all the exact same access to. So that has nothing to do with factions.
It's just something that's being neglected from an aspect of him. He's going for these melee companies.
Yeah,
as you
absolutely.
Can see, once they're debuffed with Wash of Pain, once they're debuffed with Terrify.
Oh, and the Slan, I'm back in battle. Thank you for bringing me back to life, Tau. And look at how deep Tau is getting in here. I mean, he's getting close to BoNT's main. And that's not to say that he's going to take it right now or anytime too soon, but this is the closest.
But this is, this is the deepest we've seen.
BoNT is able to hold off here, but still, he's holding onto his foothold in the middle here, but I don't think he's going to get quite up here.
I do think that's been a deciding factor. He's relying on horse archers for DPS and not able to use their mobility on this side, right? So essentially, they're just weaker archers because they're not getting to really utilize any of their strengths.
Exactly,
in these chokes.
They're literally just bad archers.
Yeah.
So we got 15 to 19. And at this point in the game, I would say 15 Nationalist companies is probably still favored against 19 Royalist companies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. This Royalist company is going to have a few more lower quality companies, and the Nationalist companies, that force multiplier, those summoners, they make up a pretty big difference in these line engagements. Yeah, look at those companies. Yeah, Maelstroms.
Yeah, I mean, look,
experience.
3 of these are regulars.
Yeah.
And these guys with Zealot Fanatic quickly got to regular.
And they will start causing quite a bit of havoc with the enemy's morale.
Okay,
just Terrify itself is a really devastating debuff.
Okay, look at this. BoNT's moving in, and he has 5 companies. 5 bowman companies. 4 of them have double elementalists in the back.
Wow, this is some real DPS. This is some serious damage. Elementalists blow apart most companies that Nationalists can put together.
But look at Tau's DPS coming from the back here. Like, BoNT is just not able to do enough. He was able to do a lot to take down the first round, the first wave of what Tau had, but as soon as those Rainbringers came in, like, BoNT just didn't have enough to deal with that.
And in these AoE engagements, that Crescent engagement is a large factor. Even if you have a higher quality of DPS than Maelstrom engines like Elementalist, if you're just not hitting as many companies and you're getting hit more, then you're going to lose that fight. And okay, this is good from Tau. He's acknowledging this southern flank. He knows that BoNT can't damage him in these 2 other sides. He's holding back. He has time to fall back behind his outpost in the north.
Oh my god.
He might be moving those companies. Oh,
sorry.
Nope, he's still there. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just getting to the point in the cast where I have nothing useful to say. I just get happy because it's a really good game. That's it. That's the only place I'm at right now.
Absolutely. Euphoria rolling over us in waves as these companies are bodies everywhere.
Companies doing stuff. Attacks are happening.
The sound effects.
Oh my god, the fucking sound effects. Blowing my mind. I fucking love 2002 computer game graphics. I love all the colors. I love all these animations of stuff blowing up, all the dead bodies. Look, you can see the rib cage from the horses there.
Look at those damage numbers.
Oh my god, I love damage numbers. Anyone who doesn't play with damage numbers on is missing out really badly.
They need to get on the same page.
Look at this, though. We got some, these third beammen went to elite. I mean, they've been there the whole game.
Crap.
They've been there the whole game.
They're pretty resistant with that magic resistance, too. But, yeah, they're just 4 bowmen with that benefiting from that
that's
elite.
So funny. I think that's the only sorceress company he has left here. But 150%? Holy shit.
Yeah, that's like having an extra archer company. It's like a company and a half.
I know. That is so wild. Okay, we got a little bit of a lull here. Now, whatever happened to Tau's... Look at this. Tau is starting to go on a little raid here. He's doing it finally.
He tanked it with the Dragoons. This is handled very well. He didn't put a Kohan on this, right? He doesn't need a Kohan on this, right?
Exactly. He didn't
just fighting militia. And this is going to stretch BoNT out. He's already 2020, and he's barely maintaining line.
And look at this. He's not even reacting to it. He's just going fully for a counterattack. I think
BoNT, he's assuming that Tau's out of position now. Like, at least he has to push or he's going to lose. You know, he doesn't want to do anti-raid.
I mean, and at an hour and 20, I'm sure there's a bit of fatigue starting to set in too.
Oh yeah.
And like this is
the deciding factor. I win or I die.
Exactly.
Or I win or I lose. Yeah.
I mean, it's a really good mind game for Tau. It's such a good point in the game. I mean, you can make a lot of arguments that he should have been raiding all along, but at this point in the game, it can be such a mindfuck because BoNT is already so tired. And so just giving BoNT one more thing to react to like that, he's just going to be like, oh my god, fuck this.
Tau's losing so many companies
my god.
back. 3 companies down.
That was 4 companies down, actually.
Damage. 4 companies down.
Oh my, what?
Oh, no.
Holy shit, that's more than 4.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he is down to 13.
And these Slan are going down next. That's it. Slannery companies are expensive. They're not something you can casually replace.
No. There's 77 gold.
with that bank of 600 gold.
Oh my god, look at this. And BoNT is moving through here.
Any losses, he can replace this. He can reboom. He has no issues.
Oh my god. Look at the message log. How is this happening?
I think it's a mismanagement of army resources. Honestly, he had enough units. If he had pulled back his DPS behind those militias and those forts, he could have been in a solid, safe place. But he fought in front of them, you know?
Yeah.
And
I mean, I think he was. That's it. GG. BoNT is the winner.
GG. Wow.
Oh my God.
That was an incredible game.
That was an extremely good game. Let's just quickly go over what happened there, because there was so much going on that we weren't able to really get all of it watching the game. But how, like, it was so back and forth the whole game, and there was a lot of times where I thought BoNT was ahead. There's a lot of times I thought Tau was ahead, and
neck and neck, really.
Like 5 or 10 minutes ago, I thought Tau had a really strong chance of winning this game,
especially with that raid going off without a hitch, you know. But I think in the end, we had this critical mass of elementalist in the middle, right? And these low hit point rainbringers, right? And if you miss micro that even a little bit, if you stack your rainbringers, you don't engage behind your front line as well as you could, you know, you don't use that militia, you start losing companies fast.
And that's exactly what happened, wasn't it?
Yeah, and in the north, it was less a wee mass, right? But it was more just a victory through force of arms and unit quality. He didn't have his disciples and his dragoons in position. He really needed 3 or 4 more companies just to fill this out. You know, those 2 positions he could have filled with his villages through settlements would have raised his cap to where he needed it to be to contest that. But it was just an overwhelming force of there were elementals in the north as well.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, I mean,
I think that's all I really have to say about that. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the rating at the end might have been a little bit what did Tau in, because at the same time, like I was talking about BoNT's fatigue and how Tau was able to capitalize it, I think it also might have taken a toll on Tau's fatigue, because he was all of a sudden trying to micro this raid, and that might have been exactly what BoNT needed to be able to attack these 2 other positions where Tau was not there to micro it correctly. And like you said, just that little bit of a lack of getting his guys behind the outpost and really doing it correctly is what might have allowed BoNT to be able to win it. So I think Tau's move of doing the raid was a really smart move in theory, but I think it really might have been something that spread his mind too thin.
It spread his mind a little bit too thin. He mismicroed in the middle, probably a little bit. He could have let the enemies maybe hit his militia before his front line, and engaged off of that for a more balanced thing. That's what makes that raid work, is he has these outposts to fall back on, right? Mm-hmm. And really the mental game of BoNT here must have just, he was holding up. I bet they were both weary, but just Tau trying to break the melancholy, trying to break the stalemate, and then that backfiring on him. I think that's what hit it, the mental game.
That was an incredible game, and that was just game 1, folks. Let's take a quick look at, I mean, according to this, BoNT was ahead the whole game. It's always interesting looking at the graphs.
Yeah, it really does take in military score over a lot, as you can see here.
Yeah, I mean, the graphs do not at all tell the full story, so this is, I would not say that BoNT was as ahead to the entire game as this graph would say.
This doesn't tell you that disciples are resistant to AoE damage and crippling people in the middle of the map.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can see the economy, though. You know, BoNT was overall ahead for most of the game, just until the way end. You can see the population. BoNT was way ahead in settlements, and that's something we were talking about, how Tau kind of missed a few opportunities to settle there.
Yeah.
Wow. That was quite a game.
Yeah, great game.
Good game.
We'll be moving to game 2 here shortly.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching. There's going to be a game 2 up as well. And I love you all.